Use your brain, use your freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and don't ever let nobody bully you. Never. Don't let nobody bully you. You got me? Love. Now back to trolling this troll. Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what, no matter what nobody said. Let's just, here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
The footage is part of a new, highly anticipated docuseries by director Alex Stapleton and rapper and executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson.
I think we already would have saw it.
He got shot 9 times. He paid his debt early. So that's why he's like, F it.
The internet doesn't just react anymore, it detonates, instantly turning a single moment into a wildfire of speculation that no one can fully contain. And when one voice steps slightly out of line during a cultural storm, it doesn't just get noticed, it gets magnified, dissected, and replayed until the questions feel louder than the facts themselves. That was the exact atmosphere when Marlon Wayans publicly questioned the tone of Netflix's Sean Combs' The Reckoning, a project closely tied to 50 Cent that had already ignited intense conversations across the industry. The documentary peeled back layers people are saying were never meant to be examined so openly, diving into allegations, insider accounts, and stories the official narrative always seems to skip over. But the moment Wayans suggested the portrayal might feel one-sided, everything shifted in a way that felt almost inevitable, like a spark hitting dry ground.
As a producer and as a director and as a storyteller, I can create a narrative. I could be like, you know what?
You have.
I could create a narrative.
Well, we see it all the time in reality shows.
Reality shows.
Yeah,
That's how they're creating
you
write
a
a
narrative.
character.
It doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's true. I can get interviews, I can do this, I can get footage, and I could make you think this about that person.
Nah, for sure, yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. So for me, you know, I think, look, 50 and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's
Well,
between,
people are saying 50's wrong for doing it, but 50's right for doing it. It's divided.
It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God is going to.
If 50 ever luck turned up on 50, you know, that you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
You think we'll see that day?
Huh?
You think we'll see that day?
I don't think 50 does dumb stuff. You know, he's very smart, you know, in terms of his business. I think he already had his.
I think we already would have saw it.
He got shot 9 times. He paid his debt early. So that's why he's like, F it. But, you know, look, this is between him and Puff, and honestly, it's between both of them and God.
Yeah.
So, you know, only God can judge, and both of them people will have time to sit with God and talk about and through everything. And right now is Puff's time to sit there and have a conversation, a much needed conversation with God. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I said, I know his kids, I know his family, I know 50, you know, I've seen Tupac and Biggie, both friends of mine, die for beef. I think we all need to learn our lessons. Mm-hmm. And at a point, you're going to keep one up on each other until the beef gets so out of hand that lives are at stake, and that's when you've crossed the line. And at a point, now it's no holds bars and bare knuckle boxing. When Puff come out, he gonna probably have the 50 Cent documentary
ready.
Nah, you should let it
Someone's
go.
working on it now.
No,
You should let it go. Nah, that's revenge.
I
right?
haven't
Like,
seen. Yeah, but both of this is all. You know, it's coming from a
it's
place
deeper than rap, I think, too.
I think it's personal. I think it's between them
personal.
two. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they beef is. I mean, you know.
Well, business, who knows, right? Stuff that we didn't get to see.
According to whispers online, some viewers saw his words as quiet loyalty, a subtle defense hiding behind measured skepticism, while others argued he was simply pointing out what the public was never meant to question. Who controls the narrative, and why does it matter now? But is it really just a coincidence that this one comment triggered such an explosive reaction? Within hours, timelines flooded, memes multiplied, and the conversation spiraled into something far bigger than a documentary review. Because this wasn't just about content anymore, it was about perception, allegiance, and the shadows behind the spotlight that most people never get to see. And then, almost like clockwork, two familiar voices entered the scene. 50 Cent, known for his calculated humor and relentless online presence, began posting in ways that made millions laugh while subtly steering the narrative, making you wonder, why are they hiding this beneath jokes? At the same time, Katt Williams added his own layer, delivering commentary that felt less like entertainment and more like a gaze that seemed to see through the polished Hollywood facade, raising the questions that refused to die. Why now? Why did this specific moment pull Marlon into a storm that felt like it had been building long before he spoke? To understand that, you have to look deeper, beyond headlines, beyond clips, into the layers beneath the glittering surface of success.
Wayans family knows 50's bosses, who is paying 50. That's who they're dealing with. You understand what I'm saying? So you're dealing with somebody that don't need to be in your documentaries, your good graces, no none of that, because they can drop just as many movies as you can, if not more. That's the other thing. But now I gotta, show love to 50.
Okay then.
You know what I'm saying? 40 Laws of Power, Robert Greene. You know what I'm saying? 50, if you know about, because it's 40 Laws of Power. You know what I'm saying? If you are a guy that subscribes to the 40 Laws of Power, you know that it's the art of manipulation. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the laws in there, they don't, they go lower. They go low, we go lower. The art of manipulation. I don't believe in a God per se. The God is me. I determine the life and what's gonna happen, me. That's a lot of 50 fans will tell you that's what he subscribes to. So therefore, 50 is relentless. 50 is gonna do whatever it takes. Not to take an L in this situation. That's what makes the entire thing fascinating, if it's all in good nature. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm sitting back, I'm waking up now. I'm seeing both of them going back and forth. Marlon just put out a post saying, I'm finna troll the troll. You know what I'm saying? And 50 say, I'm here for all the smoke, little punk. You know what I'm saying? So I like both of it. I love it all. A lot of people think that that I don't like 50. That's not true at all. I love 50. I love 50. I love his music. I love his hustle. I love everything 50 stand for, except for one thing. What? My thing has always been, have the same energy with the other side that you have for your own people. And that's what anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's what Oprah and Gail. That's what this person, that person. Show me the same. If you're Stephen A. Smith, you know what I'm saying? If you're gonna sit up there and talk about LeBron James, and you're gonna talk about Michael Jordan, and you're gonna talk about blah blah blah, and Shador Shador Sanders is cocky. He's spoiled. He this and that, and or Allen Iverson coming to a meeting late. You understand what I'm saying? Then when the white athletes come to a meeting late, or they wearing, bling bling and stuff, they have the same energy for them. If you got a problem with this celebrity, I remember back in the day, a lot of broad sportscasters had a problem with Andre Rison, and I was there for it when he was messing with Lisa Leftar Lopez, God rest her soul. Right? They had a problem with that. Right? But a lot of the same guys now, and they were around back then. They don't have a problem with Taylor Swift and your boy for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know exactly what you're talking about. I forget his name. They'll tell me in the comments. But if the energy doesn't be the same when it comes to our blacks as the other side, as the whites. If you're 50 and you give me the Harvey Weinstein documentaries, and you give me the Epstein documentaries, and just like you give me Diddy, then I have no problem with nothing. You're a documentarian. Exactly.
Wayans has spent decades moving through the same rarefied circles, attending the same exclusive gatherings, existing within the same orbit as Diddy for years, not as a public partner, not as a constant collaborator, but as someone who shared space in an environment where connections are rarely accidental. And that's where something just doesn't add up, because in an industry shaped by quiet alliances and unspoken understandings, even the smallest comment can echo like a signal.
What are your thoughts about this new beef between 50 and Marlon Wayans and the wild card Ja Rule on the side over this Diddy documentary?
Oh boy, it's funny.
Yeah.
First of all, Ja Rule just need to move out the way and let Marlon handle it.
Yeah.
I think I've been looking at it.
Yeah.
I follow Marlon and I follow 50, of course. I don't follow Ja Rule, but I follow Marlon and 50. And I think this is a beef, an internet beef that I didn't know that I wanted. That I didn't wake up and, that was the last thing on my mind. But now that it's here, I'm happy about it. I want to say, I think that 50, me knowing Marlon and following Marlon, I think 50 has met his match.
What?
Yeah. And the reason why this is going to be, I think this beef right here could go down as one of the all-time greatest. And when I say a beef, I don't mean a street beef, I mean a troll beef.
Beef.
I think this right here is who's going to be king of trolls.
What if this wasn't just about one opinion, but about something older, something buried within the industry's hidden undercurrents? The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence, and the silence between the headlines begins to feel louder than anything actually said. Long before the current storm took over timelines, there were already fragments of a story scattered across interviews, tweets, and late-night conversations that seemed harmless at the time. Kanye West had once spoken casually about attending Diddy's gatherings, describing them as nothing but positive energy, moments that felt like any other night among industry elites. At the time, no one paused to question it. Why would they? It sounded like just another celebrity sharing a passing experience. But fast forward, as suddenly those same words began resurfacing under a completely different light. According to whispers online, people started revisiting everything. Old clips, archive posts, even subtle expressions, searching for patterns, for connections, for anything that might explain what they don't want you to know.
Before-scene footage of Sean Diddy Combs in the days leading up to his arrest in New York last September.
You want to put stuff in my fanny pack, King?
The exclusive video obtained by Netflix shows Combs debating with his lawyers about strategy.
Listen to me. I'm going to get off the phone right now, and I am going to let you professionals look at the situation and come back to me with a solution. No matter what, no matter what nobody said. Let's just, here and there, y'all are not working together the right way. We're losing.
The footage is part of a new, highly anticipated docuseries by director Alex Stapleton and rapper and executive producer Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, titled Sean Combs, The Reckoning. Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching?
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it.
It was very interesting to watch a man who's known for his brand presence. He has a really amazing knack for marketing and all of that, and how he was sort of taking that into account in how he was coming off to the public.
The exclusive video also shows Combs in Harlem greeting fans.
Off my back, bro. Lord, you win. I'm gonna win. As long as you win, we win it. I'll accept it.
I need some hand sanitizer. Hold on. I got. I've been out in the streets amongst the people. Yeah, I gotta take a bath. Like the amount of people that actually I'm coming in contact with. Like that's what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? Oh. It's like 150 hugs.
You're a public person as well, and there was one instance in Harlem, and his reaction when those people
went away.
Got in
the car and said, I feel like I need to wash, like I'm dirt. That was, it show you his character.
Was that the reason for including it?
Yeah, I mean, what's the odds that you would do that in front of a camera? Like that's one of the moments where he forgot he was on tape.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me, type of thing, right? And it's not personal.
I think it's important to also let people know that the show is not completely the perspectives of people that did not like Sean. We weren't trying to just get the highlights, the salacious details, that the real goal was to storytell. And not everyone needed to have an allegation to be a part of this project.
The 4-part series also features 2 jurors from Combs' trial who are speaking for the first time about how they reached their mixed verdict, finding Combs guilty of 2 prostitution offenses, but clear of racketeering and trafficking charges, both sharing their thoughts on the relationship between Combs and singer Cassie. Juror 75 describing them as 2 people in love, and Juror 160 saying in part, domestic violence wasn't one of the charges. Cassie, is she a victim in all this?
I believe Cassie's a victim in all this because she came in as she's like 18, like 19 years old. In the very beginning, after a while, over time, you condition for it.
The goal of what the film is trying to do is to let the audience kind of come in to ask questions like, were their decisions colored by certain things, and who got the benefit of the doubt, in that courtroom?
Do you think that hip-hop culture was on trial as much as Sean Combs was?
Look, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as the hip-hop is fine with his behaviors. There's no one else being vocal. So you would look at it and just say, because that mind your business, or let me not say nothing about nothing, or those things, it would allow the entire culture to register as if they're for that behavior.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time. Because you'll see people saying that. I mean, he may feel a different way about pieces and bits of it, but he knows the truth.
But is it really just a coincidence that these resurfaced moments began gaining traction only after the narrative around Diddy shifted so dramatically? The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence. As the conversation grew louder, Keenan Ivory Wayans found himself pulled into the same orbit, attempting to create distance in a way that felt careful, almost calculated. He explained that he never stayed long, that he would leave early, that he personally never witnessed anything out of the ordinary. On the surface, it sounded like simple honesty, but in today's climate, even honesty gets filtered through suspicion. Something just doesn't add up, at least not for everyone watching from the outside. Some defended him, saying people are saying he can only speak on what he experienced, while others question whether silence in certain spaces carries its own meaning. And just like that, a conversation that should have been personal became something much larger, something tied to the industry's hidden undercurrents, where every statement feels like a clue and every pause feels intentional. Then came the moment that shifted everything. When the Netflix documentary dropped, the energy changed almost instantly, like a switch had been flipped behind the scenes. And when Marlon Wayans stepped onto the cruise show on December 8, 2025, what followed felt less like an interview and more like a moment captured only in insider whispers and faded footage. Instead of aligning with the wave of reactions, he questioned the framing, hinting, without saying names at first, that the project might carry the weight of personal rivalry. Behind the carefully curated image of a documentary, he suggested there could be motives the public was never meant to question.
All right, so I'm going to make it abundantly clear. I'm not here defending Diddy. I am here because I got dragged into this because somebody asked me a question and I had an opinion. Nobody's wrong for giving an opinion about any subject, period. I'm not here defending Diddy. Don't let the narrative fool you or get to you. Once again, somebody's creating narratives. This is my point. So please look at the whole clip that I did and then look what happens with the narrative. And that's what I'm telling you. Y'all people don't be sheep. Use your brain, use your freedom of thought, freedom of speech, and don't ever let nobody bully you. Never. Don't let nobody bully you. You got me? Love. Now back to trolling this troll.
Why now? Why present the story this way, at this exact moment? The questions that refused to die only grew louder as clips spread across social media at lightning speed. Some viewers agreed, pointing out that documentaries can shape perception as much as they reveal truth. Others pushed back hard, interpreting his words as something else entirely. And just like that, the internet did what it always does. It chose a side before the full picture could even settle. When Wayans later tried to clarify his stance, insisting he wasn't defending anyone, but simply questioning perspective, it barely slowed the momentum. According to whispers online, many saw it as backtracking, as if the silence between his original words and his explanations spoke louder than anything he could say afterward. Because here's where it gets even more layered. Questioning a project connected to 50 Cent isn't just a casual critique. It's stepping directly into a space where narratives, rivalries, and reputations collide. And with 50's long-standing pattern of speaking loudly, unapologetically, and often with strategic timing, people couldn't help but wonder, was this reaction inevitable?
I told you that 50 and Diddy were fighting for the kingdom.
Yeah.
Like Pac said him and Big was back in the day.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole thing is about when it comes to 50 and Diddy. That's why he's, the 40 laws of power, he's trying to kill him. You understand what I'm saying? I think that this right here is kind of, it's not that serious, but it's more of the king of trolls because Marlon Wayans is a relentless troll. I'm talking about he is relentless. Marlon Wayans will drop 5 troll posts for every one that 50 is gonna drop. That's one thing. He comes in bulk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He don't care if 1 or 2 of them don't hit. It's about it's how many he can get out there. You know what I'm saying? On you. He just dropped one this morning while I was on my way here with 50 with the album cover with all the baby oil on it. He talking about where did you get all the baby oil from?
Oh Lord.
He got Diddy and I don't know if he did an AI one where he got Diddy and 50 in a hot tub. Yeah. And all kind of damn 50 come right back on him. 50 got one showing Marlon saying that he's not defending Diddy, but then he turned around. 50 done when he got some old clips of Marlon saying, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party. Diddy parties never let me down." So I think that this right here is it's a fun troll beef. Yeah. Hopefully it don't get out of control. Yeah. You and I always know that it's always the extra people that take it serious. But as far as them two go, I don't think that it's gonna, go there. I think that
you know what? I used to believe that it couldn't go there until I saw Will Smith at the Oscars.
It can. You're right.
I used to believe that it wouldn't go there between celebrities of that magnitude until Will Smith lost his mind at the Oscars and started slapping people.
That's true. But I think that Marlon and 50 are public trolls. That was more on a personal, behind the scenes level. Yeah. Will Smith is not an internet troll.
That's right.
Chris Rock was not an internet troll.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That was more, hey man, you finna get up here on the awards, man. Don't be talking about my wife. She bought her bald head from what the little disease or whatever she got is, she feels a certain kind of way about it. Don't make the joke. He made the joke. He got slapped out.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So theirs was a lot different. Now, let me break down a few different things to you, because a lot of people, I'm reading comments and on both sides, and a lot of people are asking me too. They say, "Well, Wick, who you think is going to prevail in the, the king of trolls?" I'm gonna go ahead and put a name on it. The king of trolls.
The king of trolls.
The king of trolls. Who's gonna be the king? We got over here
the troll
50.
king.
We got 50.
Yeah.
And we got Marlon.
That's right.
Right.
Or was this always the direction the story was heading, hidden in plain sight all along? By this point, the atmosphere wasn't just tense, it felt like something inevitable was about to unfold, the kind of moment where the industry's loudest voices step in and shift the entire narrative. 50 Cent, long known for his sharp, calculated online presence, didn't hesitate. This was the arena he thrives in, where humor blends with strategy, and every post feels like it carries a second meaning just beneath the surface. According to whispers online, the moment Marlon Wayans' comments reached him, the response wasn't just quick, it was surgical. Memes appeared almost instantly, old white chicks' visuals reworked into viral jokes, captions layered with that signature tone that makes people laugh while quietly steering perception. But is it really just a coincidence that every joke seemed to push the same idea, that Hollywood protects its own behind the carefully curated image? The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence. What seemed like entertainment on the surface quickly turned into something deeper as millions watched, shared, and began forming opinions in real time. 50 didn't just joke, he framed the entire situation as part of a bigger pattern, one where silence and selective memory play a role in keeping certain stories buried. He reminded audiences that his long-standing tension with Diddy doesn't change what the documentary attempts to spotlight, and that focusing on personal party experiences might be missing the bigger picture entirely. Why are they hiding this beneath humor? Why shift attention away from what they don't want you to know?
I think 50 gonna tap out.
You think 50 gonna tap out with Marlon?
Marlon got time today.
He got time.
Marlon is a person.
But now 50 does this for a living.
No, Marlon does too. Marlon does too. And what do you have besides when your gay jokes wear off on Marlon, which he don't care about that. He didn't build his career off being a gangster. I'm gonna give you one more example and bring it home to all the people.
Yeah.
Right? If Young Thug, for instance, when he was doing the jail calls, and they were saying he was snitching, or 6ix9ine, they were saying he was snitching, or this person or that person. You understand what I'm saying? That's a rapper, and they were gangster rappers. That hurt their career. Stay with me. That hurt their career because they built their careers off being solid from street. Now, people that I tell street guys this all the time. Let's say Miss Emma from down the street, the lady from 227 that used to be in the window, the old lady. Nobody cares about, they're gonna snitch. Everybody in the neighborhood know Miss Emma's gonna tell on you. And she ain't gonna lose no credibility for telling on you. You know why? Because she ain't built her reputation off being a gangster or being solid. You understand what I'm saying? See, 50 got more to lose. 50 career is built off being a gangster that got shot and all this. It only takes Marlon to find one thing, and he got a powerful family. One thing that is gonna hurt a lot worse than you showing something on Marlon that we all know anyway. Nobody likes Marlon Wayans because he's an OG, triple OG gangster. You see what I'm saying? So he has less to lose than what 50 has to lose, if that makes sense to you.
I'm with you.
You understand what I'm saying? So now it's these two families, they go to digging. They go to digging them for stuff. 50 now, you better make sure it's squeaky clean. You ain't beat no women.
Come on.
You ain't been to no parties. You ain't goddamn snitched to nobody. If you find a video of Marlon snitching, he don't care. He snitches in all his own movies. So that's the point I'm making. You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be, it's funny, but at the end of the day, I think it's all in good fun. I think that, you know what I'm saying, is as long as it don't turn into nothing else right here, we all sit back with our popcorn, man. And a lot of us like both of them. So it's just funny.
And then lastly, I gotta ask you this other one though. If you're Diddy seeing this, how would you feel?
I mean, I told you that Diddy is no different than 50. Diddy is subscribes to the 40 laws of power also. That's the mentality of the whole thing. And Puffy definitely has that same mentality. I think that if 50 was on the other end of the stick, that's why 50 going at him so hard. That Puffy will be doing the same exact thing to 50 that 50 is doing to him. So I'm not, so don't ever get it twisted that I feel sorry for Diddy. Diddy put himself where he's at because of his choices. My only thing was 50. There's a lot of other men that don't look like us that have done the same thing or worse with bigger names that you won't say nothing about. So, but to answer your question, Diddy shouldn't be worried about nothing. What Diddy should be worried about is getting his life together, righting his wrongs, making his family proud. He got his mom out here, you know what I'm saying, looking crazy. You got your kids out here looking crazy. You got innocent people out here looking crazy that love you. That should be his only concern, not Marlon and 50 out here trolling. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, like I said, the Marlon and 50 situation, it's funny, it's good for the culture. Now, it's a troll beef that I didn't think that I needed, and it's funny as hell to me. That's, at the end of the day, it's all laugh.
His posts kept coming, each one feeding the algorithm, each one keeping Marlon's name circulating in a loop that felt impossible to escape. and his fans joined in, some laughing, others questioning. Something just doesn't add up began to echo louder across comment sections and timelines. Because while 50 Cent was controlling the tempo with humor, another voice was preparing to enter from a completely different angle. Katt Williams doesn't rely on memes. He relies on presence, on the weight of his words, on the kind of quiet observation only someone who had seen it all could make. And when he finally spoke, it wasn't wrapped in jokes. It came direct, layered, and impossible to ignore. People are saying his reaction cut straight to the core of the issue, questioning why Marlon would step into such a charged conversation without fully addressing the depth of what was being discussed.
Diddy and Puff have a long-term beef. It's personal. It's between him and Puff. And before it's between him and Puff, it's between both of them and God. Just the way Puff is down on his luck and 50's kicking a man when he's down.
God is going
to... If 50 ever luck turn up on 50, you got to be careful what you put out. There's a karma to every action that you do.
You think we'll see that day?
Huh?
You think we'll see that day?
I don't think 50 does dumb stuff. You know, he's very smart, you know, in terms of his business. I think he already had his...
I think we already would have saw it.
He got shot 9 times. He paid his debt early. So that's why he's like, F it. But, you know, look, this is between him and Puff, and honestly, it's between both of them and God.
Yeah.
So, you know, only God can judge, and both of them people will have time to sit with God and talk about and through everything. And right now is Puff's time to sit there and have a conversation, a much-needed conversation with God.
Behind the polished surface of Hollywood, Katt has long hinted at something more. Structures, gatekeepers, and what he describes as shadows behind the spotlight that most never get to see. And this moment, in his view, wasn't about friendships or shared memories. It was about perception, about responsibility, about how even a single comment can ripple through a situation already filled with the questions that refuse to die. He pointed out something that immediately divided audiences. Just because someone says they didn't witness anything, does that erase the experiences of others who claim something very different? Or does it reveal the layers beneath the glittering surface of success, where 2 realities can exist at the same time? According to whispers online, that idea struck a nerve, because if Hollywood is built on image, on moments carefully presented to the public, then what exists outside the frame? What the cameras missed and the contracts never mentioned? And suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about Marlon anymore. It became something much bigger, something tied to a pattern that keeps resurfacing no matter how hard they try to bury it. What this moment revealed wasn't just a disagreement, it was a collision between perception and responsibility, unfolding in real time under the watchful eye of millions. Katt Williams didn't raise his voice or turn it into spectacle, but the weight behind his words carried further than any meme ever could. He made something unmistakably clear. Having a positive personal experience doesn't automatically invalidate what others claim to have gone through. And in a space already filled with tension, that distinction hit harder than expected. According to whispers online, his message wasn't aimed at tearing Marlon down. It was a reminder that ignorance and innocence don't always mean the same thing. But is it really just a coincidence that this perspective began gaining traction right as the conversation reached its peak? The questions that refused to die only grew louder, because suddenly it wasn't just about what was said, it was about what might have been overlooked, what might exist beyond one person's view, hidden in the layers beneath the glittering surface of success. As the pressure mounted, Marlon Wayans stepped forward again, attempting to bring clarity to a situation that was already spiraling beyond control. He explained that he wasn't defending anyone, that he was simply speaking from his own limited experiences, leaving early, never seeing anything that raised concern from his perspective. On the surface, it sounded reasonable, honest even. But something just doesn't add up for those watching from the outside, especially in a climate where the public was never meant to question, suddenly feels like the only thing anyone wants to do. Because once the internet locks onto a narrative, it doesn't just listen, it builds, expands, and reshapes every word into something bigger. And that's exactly what happened next. According to whispers online, the conversation began drifting into unfamiliar territory, where speculation moved faster than facts and unverified stories started weaving themselves into the narrative. Posts appeared, claims circulated, and what started as a discussion quickly transformed into something far more unpredictable. Why are they hiding this? Or maybe the better question is, are they hiding anything at all? Or is the noise itself becoming the story? Marlon's attempts to steady the moment only seemed to add new layers, as every clarification was interpreted, reinterpreted, and placed under a microscope. Some saw sincerity, others saw uncertainty, and many believed he had stepped into something far bigger than he anticipated. Meanwhile, the voices shaping the narrative didn't fade, they grew louder. 50 Cent continued to guide the tone through humor that carried an edge, while Katt Williams maintained a presence that felt more like a quiet warning than commentary. And in between those two forces, Marlon stood in a space where neutrality felt almost impossible to maintain. But zoom out for a second, and the larger picture begins to form. This wasn't just about three comedians exchanging perspectives. It was about a shift, something deeper moving through the industry's hidden undercurrents. For years, people are saying there have been whispers about powerful circles, about stories that never fully reached the surface, about moments that faded before they could be understood. Now, in 2025, that silence feels different. The culture is watching more closely, questioning more boldly, and refusing to look away as easily as before. The Reckoning documentary didn't just add to the conversation, it amplified it, pulling old discussions back into the light whether people were ready or not. And right in the middle of that shift, Marlon Wayans' attempt to question the narrative became something much bigger than intended. The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence. Because sometimes it's not just about what is said, but about why it was said at that exact moment and what it reveals about the echoes from the corridors where power moves in silence. What happened next didn't just place Marlon Wayans in the spotlight, it positioned him on what many perceived as the opposite side of a cultural wave that had been building momentum for years. Not because he openly defended anything, but because to some viewers, his words seemed to soften the weight of what the documentary presented. And in today's climate, where people are saying silence can feel just as loud as a statement, that distinction matters more than ever. 50 Cent and Katt Williams, in their own very different ways, have come to represent a growing mindset within the industry, one that questions whether neutrality is even possible when the conversation carries this level of gravity. But is it really just a coincidence that this divide feels sharper now than ever before? The more you look at it, the less it looks like coincidence. Because this isn't just about three names circulating online. It's about a culture split between those who believe in measured skepticism and those who believe the public was never meant to question until now. Behind the carefully curated image of Hollywood, something is shifting. Social media has turned every word into a spark, every reaction into fuel, and every moment into a narrative that evolves faster than anyone can control. One sentence can ignite millions. One clip can reshape perception. And suddenly, entertainment isn't just entertainment anymore. It's accountability, loyalty, and the shadows behind the spotlight colliding in real time, according to whispers online. Marlon didn't intend to step into something this massive, but intention no longer defines impact in the era where questions that refuse to die spread faster than explanations ever could. Meanwhile, 50 Cent continued using humor as a tool, something that makes people laugh on the surface while quietly reinforcing a deeper message about silence and responsibility. At the same time, Katt Williams approached it with that unmistakable tone, the kind of quiet intensity that feels like a gaze that seemed to see through the polished Hollywood facade, asking why anyone would risk softening a narrative already surrounded by so many unanswered questions. And right there, in between those two forces, stood Marlon, trying to balance personal truth with public expectation, honesty with perception, and experience with a reality that extends far beyond any one individual. Something just don't add up, at least not in a way that satisfies everyone watching, because this moment isn't just about disagreement, it's about the layers beneath the glittering surface of success, where loyalty, image, and responsibility intersect in ways that are rarely simple. As this story continues to unfold, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. The culture itself is wrestling with how to handle moments like this. Should public figures speak immediately or wait until everything becomes clear? Does loyalty have a place in conversation shaped by serious claims, or does it blur the line between honesty and perception? Why now does it feel like every response carries weight far beyond its intention? These are the questions that refuse to die, echoing through timelines, interviews, and conversations that stretch far beyond Hollywood itself. And maybe that's the real story here. Not just what was said, but what it reveals about the industry's hidden undercurrents, about a watchful eye from the upper reaches of the game, and about a pattern that keeps resurfacing no matter how hard they try to bury it. So now, imagine this. If you were in that position, would you speak your personal truth, even knowing how it might be interpreted? Or would you stay silent, understanding how quickly the narrative can turn? Because in moments like these, the silence between the headlines speaks louder than any statement, and the choice itself becomes part of the story. Comment below with what you think is really going on. Leave a like if this gave you chills, and subscribe plus turn on notifications for more hidden Hollywood secrets.